What's going on, everybody, man? Welcome back to another episode of 2Sides with Shawty and Coach I. He Shawty, I'm Coach I, and we're going to get this thing started. What's going on, Shawty?
What's happening? What's happening, Coach? What's going on with you, man? How your side
Uh,
doing?
hey, man, my side, I'm doing better this week, man. You know, I was a little under the weather last week, so we had to reschedule, but we back up in the building. You know, I'm saying 100% go, ready to do this thing tonight, man. You know, we had an eventful weekend this weekend, man. Before we jump into the topic, you had LeBron James going over 40,000 points in the NBA. You had South Carolina and the Lady Gamecocks 29-0. You had the combine record for the 40 getting broke. Dog, hey, listen, been an eventful weekend.
Coach, you went so fast. The King James went over 40,000 points. King
Bro,
James.
That's big time, dog. That's big. What Shannon Sharp say? Goat James.
Hey.
You know, that'll turn some nerves. I call him the GOAT, dog. Hey, I don't call him the GOAT, but he is definitely one of the best to ever do it, man. Salute to King James, man, for the 40,000 points. This thing is getting crazy now, dog. I'm gonna be honest with you, dog. It look like dude can play about another 3, 4, 5 years, dog.
Hey, Coach. I'm gonna say this right here. How you gonna say anybody a better scorer than me and I scored more points?
Big facts.
Okay. Big facts. All right, we'll let that simmer, but I don't want to start no war.
I don't want to start no war. One day we probably have a show about that, man, and let some people get their things out, because that's a big debate in the basketball world, man. But shout out to King James, man. Shout out to First Lady Respect the Hedges, man, getting in. She said, "Good evening. No matter how flat a pancake is, there's always two sides." That's right. Hey, Caitlin Clark. That's right, Shelby. Caitlin Clark had a big weekend, too. She passed Pete Maravich, Pistol Pete, as the all-time scorer in NCAA basketball history, men's or women's. Don't even matter. So shout out to Caitlin Clark. Hey, man, a lot of stuff going on. A lot of stuff going on, man. What about Texas wide receiver, University of Texas wide receiver John Ross running a 4.21? Now, Shawty, you was playing pretty fast in your day, dog. He ran a 4.21.
That's moving, man. Did you see the replay, the image?
I did.
The technology is so cool, right?
Right. It showed, if you had to break down both of him and John Ross, former University of Washington wide receiver, if you had to break down both of their 40s, Xavier Worthy got a great start.
Yep.
But what's funny is I didn't think he should have ran it. I was like, but he said he wanted to do it, and I know they take the fastest time. But when he started on the second one, I was like, he might have this one. Yeah. That was in real time. And then I watched the breakdown. And I was like, of course, John Ross, if you had to grade it, had the better finish. But because of that start that doggone Xavier Worthy had, that was ridiculous, dog.
That right there has put him in the history books.
Right. Regardless of where he gets drafted, what he does in the NFL, he's always going to be the fastest guy to ever run the 40 in the NFL combine. I mean, what can you say, man? So shout out to y'all know we some Georgia guys. So shout out to all the dogs in the combine, man. Shout out to Lad McConkey making him some money this weekend, man, with everything that he was doing. And I think today was the O-line day, and Amiris Mills was kind of stole the show with his measurables. You know what I'm saying? 6'7", 340, 86-inch wingspan.
7'2", basically. That's crazy.
That's bananas, man. What you have? Anything else you had going on your side?
No, man. I think you pretty much, hit a lot of, pretty much everything, man. Round robin that thing.
All right, man. Well, right before we get into this thing, man, take a little cue from my boy Shawty and his channel, Just My Damn Opinion. Y'all make sure y'all go out and check that out, man. Just My Damn Opinion on YouTube with Shawty Parker, man, where he talks everything, barbershop talk, and all that good jazz, man. He like to vibe out with a little music, and we don't change the music over here. We just gonna vibe out to the intro music. You know what I'm saying? That's what we do. So y'all, wherever you at, get your drink, light up a cigar, I don't know, kick back in your favorite lounger, as we get ready to jump into 2Sides.
That beat is very, very soothing.
Don't it sound like some old Southern playalistic Cadillac music type stuff?
It's awesome, man. Coach, let me ask you a question, Coach. Are you a cash guy or a card guy?
I'm a card. You mean like playing cards?
No, like cash or credit card or debit card. Like do you make most of your transactions with cash or
card? Apple Pay to be if it's in person.
You know this big thing about digital currency, and they're trying to basically get rid of the physical dollar. Trying to go everything digital.
Yeah, I mean, I like it because I lose stuff a lot. So if I have cash, I'm prone to lose it. So and I don't like touching a whole bunch of stuff. So.
You know what? I didn't know that was a bigger issue. As I've been, that was part of the what I was researching and watching. That was one of the things they were just like they didn't like to touch money. It was so dirty. I just never
Listen, and I hate when I go to a place and I want to use Apple Pay, but I gotta touch the screen 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. Like I keep asking questions. What's the whole point of contactless pay if I gotta touch a whole bunch of stuff? So, but yeah, I mean, money's dirty, dog. Money is dirty.
Gotta have it though, mighty dollar.
You gotta have it, dog. Gotta have it. All right, man. Hey, man. Hey, good vibes, man. Good vibes, man. Let's jump into this thing. I think some people was kind of waiting on this last week, and we're gonna carry it over to this week, man. It's can men and women ever be equal, Shawty? Double standards, gender equality, whatever you want to call it, and it's present in everything we do almost. Now, let y'all know before we start, all of these ain't how we feel or how we would react in a certain situation. These are just truths about what goes on in the world today. You know what I'm saying? So, Shawty, give me an example of a double standard, though. Like a double standard where men and women are not fairly viewed, I would say.
I mean, I could probably reel off a few. You want me to hit you with a slow ball?
Just get us started. Get us started, Shawty.
Nah, I'm just playing. Just real talk. What about body counts?
Jump right into it. That's what I'm talking about. Body count for those.
That's a slow ball.
Hey, listen, body count. For those that don't, I mean, we all grown here, so I don't know if anybody doesn't know what body count is. But if we need to spell it out, it's your sexual partners. There's a double standard, whether you like it or not. If a man has a high body count, it's almost like a badge of honor. Again, how things are viewed, and if a woman has a large body count, we already know how she's viewed. Why is that, Shawty?
And and one thing too, there are more men than women too, right?
Well, that's some statistics say there's more men than women, but I don't know. I will get some current stats on that. I don't know. I think it could be more men than women.
Well, we from the research, some of the research we did, we showed the birth rates. You know what I'm saying? I can definitely speak for the research that I did. Well, for that one, for the United States. But yeah, man, I don't know, man. I think it's, I think with the times it's gotten better, but it's been ingrained. You know what I'm saying? It goes back to that masculinity thing. You know what I'm saying? With men, we can't really do no wrong. You know what I'm saying? We can't really do no wrong. And men, when you picking, suppose you're a better half, you almost want that how can I say that brand new car. You don't want nobody who don't drove that car. You know what I mean?
So we won't personally though, but in society wise, it's like automatically she got to be, you know what I'm saying? Because it's even, I ain't gonna say it's taught early on. Some of my research shows that, like when you're talking about body count, of course, some of that goes back to how you're how you talk to your child when they're
Mm-hmm.
of age, and things of that nature. When what I showed was, when they talk to the daughter, it's more like it's not hey, this might be seen as promiscuous or whatever. It's like you could get pregnant, you can get this perception, things of that nature. When it's the boy, it's just don't bring no baby home. That's all. It's like
Yeah.
don't bring no baby
Yeah.
home. Not
It's,
not
it's
don't
more.
do it. Don't bring no
Let's
baby home.
keep it. Let's go back to the masculinity thing. It's a conquest.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's almost like the father. The father, you and your wife, not specifically you and your wife, just
Yeah,
in
yeah,
general.
yeah.
You and your wife, you come home, y'all come home from happy hour or something. I don't know, y'all work at the same place. Y'all come home from happy hour and y'all catch the son in the bedroom. He's 16. Y'all catch him in the room with the girl, right?
Yep.
So boom. So both of y'all mad, right? Especially when every time you look at your mom, every time you look at your wife, you mad. But when you look at your son, you kind of like, you know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying?
Well, why? Okay, so if you don't have any kids, so I can give you a hypothetical. So if you
Okay.
came and you saw your daughter, you know what I'm saying, on the bed, you assume what
Mhm,
went on. You didn't catch any of that, but you assume what went on.
mhm.
What is your initial thoughts?
Well, I would imagine as a father, you can't do nothing but assume the worst first.
Right, right.
But I was being a little bit facetious with what I just said. But obviously, I would come in and I would have to, gain control of the situation
Yeah,
before I react. You know what I'm saying? Son, it's time for you to go. You know what I'm saying? Your parents or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Maybe the fact you're probably not leaving. I probably want them to come get you, if
right,
all possible, because I would like to
right.
speak to them. You know what I'm talking about?
Hmm.
So it'll be kind of one of those particular situations. And also you never know what the type of individual you're dealing with. I would like to think that my daughter would be, you know what I'm saying, dealing with someone who's very level headed that I could
Okay.
speak to and it would go that way. But
Hmm.
if he's, something of another kind, I might can't make him stay, but you know what I'm saying? That'll also be kind of my point to her. That's why you can't be doing this kind of stuff right here. Not at
Okay.
not at this house.
So you come in, you want, again, like you say, you wanna talk to him, get everything straight, but you would rather his parents come so
Yeah.
so everybody could talk. Now, if you
If
come in,
if all possible, yeah.
all possible, but
Hmm.
if your hypothetical son was doing that, would you want the girl to stay and her parents to come?
Yes.
Okay, both
Yes.
situations. Okay.
Yes. Because what's gonna be, whether who all comes or not, what's gonna be known is you're not allowed here anymore if I'm not here or the mother's not here. You're not allowed at this house, inside the
Mm,
door, inside the premises.
okay. Okay.
I
So
ain't saying I
so
ain't saying you can't drop off. You know what I'm saying? You can't walk by and say goodbye. I ain't saying it, but you're not welcome inside the domicile without myself or my better half at the house. And I'm
which
on
was
your
actually
parent.
which is actually was our rule at my house. My mom was a single mom, and it
Mhm.
was no guest of the opposite sex when she wasn't present. You know what I'm saying, at
Right.
the home or whatever. Shelby brings up a good point. Yes, you can go other places. You can. But the thing is, I think to Shawty point
Yeah.
is like we can only control our domicile. We can only control our house. Now
And that was just
that's
based off that scenario anyway.
right, right, right. So now in this same scenario, is it a different reaction for you if your daughter comes home and says, I'm pregnant, or your son comes home and says, I got somebody pregnant?
At that same particular age, 16,
Same
17.
16,
Well,
17, same age, dog.
yeah, 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 for sure. For sure. For sure.
Because in the cases that I read about, of course, and I think this is standard, it's not standard, but I think this is widely known. If the girl gets pregnant, the girl's family is more financially responsible.
Hmm.
Not saying they should be. I'm just saying how it actually normally plays out than the boys, you know, family. And I think
But
that's why they're so in this scenario, boys versus girls, parents, and coming home to your children. why it's so like don't do this more so for the girl than the guy, because if the girl gets pregnant, not even speaking on diseases and all that, but if the girl gets pregnant, the baby typically stays at home with the girl, so that's more of a
So
burden.
it's a financial piece.
I'm saying just not even just financial,
Just a resource. It's more a resource.
yeah, like responsibility. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
whether he's a good dad or not,
Right.
the baby typically is not staying with him. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
that as a parent in those situations, that's why I personally can see why there's more emphasis on the daughter not doing these things as opposed to the guy. I'm not saying that you like, oh, you can go out there and get everybody pregnant because the baby ain't with us, but that's not
Yeah.
that's not what we're trying to say. We got us a caller, and that's why I let y'all know. Like some specific shows, we'll allow y'all to call in. We'll allow y'all to give y'all opinion. And this is one of those shows. I put the link out there. If you click on the link, you come in, you get backstage, just turn your camera off. Once you turn your camera off, then you can be a caller. We got a call in the back, my guy, but turn your camera off, dog, so you just be a caller on it. There you go. All right. So it's our guy, our partner from Respect the Hedges, man. Our fellow dog, man. It's Corey Allen. What's going on, CA?
Microphone check 1 2 1 2.
You in the building with us. You in the building with us. You got, hey man, listen. You got some ideas on this thing. You know what I'm saying? You're a parent.
Coach, you know what I'm saying? Look, see, I made the mistake of just calling in. Y'all, number one, I don't do no homework.
All right. So the topic is, of course, the topic is double standards. And right now, the example is parents coming in, and there's two things on the table. You come in and it's just sex. So you are coming in, whether you're catching them
I
in the
walked
act.
in. Okay,
Yeah,
go
you
ahead.
came in from a night out with the missus, and your son is either in the act or you assume because they're in his room, maybe they're under the covers, whatever. And on the reverse side, you come in and your daughter is in act. Do you have different reactions?
16.
16 to 17 years old. Do you have different reactions to those scenarios?
That's a good question, Coach. That's a tough question. More than likely, I'm gonna overreact regardless,
Okay.
because of you know the lack of respect, whether it's my son or one of my daughters. I'm not gonna be happy. Um, let's just say if it's my son, he still got a lot of questions to answer, because he's putting himself in jeopardy. He's putting the family in jeopardy. I don't know what is going on. I'm not 100% clear. This young lady might decide to press charges. She can come up pregnant. It can go in so many different directions. That lack of communication with my son would always be an issue. Because on there's one side of the coin, bro, just tell me what's going on. Like, I just need to know. With my daughter, it's still an I need to know scenario. Um, a lot more at stake, getting pregnant, getting an STD, something, you ain't ready for, getting put into a situation, not even to mention the disrespect, bringing another young man in my house and laying with him. So I don't feel like I would react differently, to be honest with you. The tone might have a different angle to it, but I'm going to be upset regardless. I'm not going to be happy. I won't condone it just because it's my son. Again, that lack of communication, because you just said I walked into a situation when I had no idea. It wasn't like I took the missus out because I knew somebody had a date and I'd already met the individual. And at
Right.
17, it might be past me trying to curtail. It's almost too late at that juncture of the game. So it's all about, hey, I hope you're protecting yourself and that kind of conversation. But if I don't have any knowledge of it, then it's, that's a completely different animal. So I don't like it regardless. No, you don't get a free pass because ain't nobody grown just yet.
Right.
I wasn't, so you ain't.
Right. I
ACA.
think, go ahead.
I'll just say stay with her. That's the slow ball.
Yeah, yeah. So just to kind of
You
put
see
the
me?
touches on it. Yeah, probably put the touches on it, like I say, and you hit on something. It's the disrespect. So that's the same regardless of the sex of the child. The disrespect that you did, you brought somebody in here and you felt like you could do this at my place of residence and without talking to
Whole
me.
family in here.
Yeah, the whole family in here. As far as one of the reasons why I
Two
say
families.
Two families, you're right. The girl or the guy, whoever the extra person is, their family is affected. I said just from doing some studies, they say the reason why there's more of a double standard, if you would say, is because the girl of the family of the girl, oftentimes, more oftentimes, will bear the responsibility if they have a baby between in this interaction. You know what I'm saying? So while the family of the boy may make him own up to his responsibilities and do all of that, the baby doesn't reside most times with that family.
True.
It resides with the girl. So it's always a more so stricter approach. Not to say it's not strict with the boy, but it's more stricter with the girl because of those, responsibilities that may occur. Like you say, you're getting pregnant or something like that.
Yeah, and it's hard to even say stricter. I guess you just got more at stake. And I think
Right.
that might be the way I kind of look at it. Because I'm gonna be, I'm strict in a way regardless, per se. There obviously some differences in how you might treat a young man versus a young lady, but yeah, there's just a lot more at stake. So I got to keep my eyes, as open as possible. I got to make sure she's receptive to my conversations when I do want to get more information about what she might have going on. Is she going through me or is she going through the mom? That the relationships matter in that kind of instance. So
Yeah.
yeah, but it's hard to avoid. It's definitely a lot more stake on the young lady's family side because traditionally that is who's going to have to bear the brunt of that responsibility. At the same time, and I think, in the crowd on this line right now, just between the three of us, we don't dodge responsibility. So it's not like I'm going to give my son a free pass. He's going to have to step up if he's put himself in a bad spot too. So
Bet,
kind of is what
bet.
it is.
That's just and to say, man, to talk about the double standard in body count, how it starts early. A lot of this, again, like we just talked about with kids in the house, and if it happens there's other times, a lot of other times, like Shawty alluded to, that there's a double standard. One that I got, and me and Shawty kind of mentioned it, off camera before, is there's a double standard in teacher versus student. So I would say as of the last 5, 6, 7 years, we've been seeing a lot of women teachers uh, get in trouble, is what I'll say, for having sex with students.
Having inappropriate relationships is what they
Having
call it.
inappropriate relationships. But when a guy has inappropriate relationships, it's more, I think, severe punishments, because then it's on the borderline, at least how they present it, of sexual assault, molestation, rape,
That's
child
exactly what they
pornography.
call it. They don't call it an inappropriate relationship either. It's
Right.
normally called something else.
That's what I.
I
So
mean, I
your
don't
thought?
know, fellas. I'm on here now. I mean, like, yeah, if a man do it to a little girl, he just raped her. If a woman does it, she took advantage of. I don't, you can dance around it how you want to dance around it, but it's under two different labels and they're doing the same thing.
So why is that? See, what's your thoughts on that? Why is it an inappropriate? Because when you say inappropriate relationship, or when they say or label it inappropriate relationship, they're just like they had sex and they shouldn't, because you're a teacher, he a student, almost like you the boss and he the worker. Like they don't present it as if she sexually assaulted this kid.
True, true. I guess, when we, just trying to be honest without stepping on anybody's toes, historically, it's been men have been looked at, as conquerors. Even in our own circles, we're trying to accomplish certain things. You might think you're ready for certain relationships. In that scenario, an older woman and a younger man, most times your guy friends are gonna pat you on the back for that. Most men aren't gonna ridicule either side for that. As long as all parties are of age. In this scenario, they're not. So traditionally, it hasn't been frowned upon as much as older men preying on younger women. That's been a bigger problem. When you look at our society, it's something that we have to watch out for in every stage, angle, culture, and relationship. So it does have a different perception when an older man is pursuing a woman that's not of age. And on the opposite side, because it's been maybe not as taboo, not as talked about, not as common, it hasn't been, they haven't gotten the ridicule, even though they're just as wrong. And I
Right.
think it also goes into what we mentioned earlier. The different sexes do have different things at stake. These older men have gotten a lot of these young girls pregnant against their will. These young boys don't really have to deal with that conversation per se, as far as going through a pregnancy physically, even though that teacher could get pregnant. But I think it's just, it's some stereotypes, it's some cultural differences. It's a lot that goes into it, but it don't make it right, because at this point we should be able to decipher the two and judge, it on an even playing field, because that's what we're supposed to be aiming for.
Right. Shawty, what you got on it, dog?
I'll go ask CA. So, cause we kind of touched on it earlier, like obviously, the younger person is being taken advantage of, right?
Yeah.
But from a male perspective, once again, it almost seemed like a badge of honor. Like it's almost
True.
seemed like, well, depending on where you from, once again, everything is cultural, right? You know what I'm
I
saying?
agree.
It just seemed, but I think most from the male side, it looked like once again a conquest. But then from
I
the
agree.
female standpoint, that's what we're talking about, the double standard. So that's just like one of the NFL. I don't know if y'all seen the one recently. It's an NFL guy. He's going back after his high school trainer.
No,
It's
I ain't
like,
see that.
it's
Give us
like
the
him and
story.
like 11 other guys. Just kind of, I don't remember. I looked at it earlier
Brief,
in the
yeah.
week. It's like him and like I think 11 other guys that she, you know what I'm saying, back when they was 17. Yeah.
Really?
That might be interesting. I'm about to see if we can follow that story to see
Yeah, I find the article.
right. You know
That's
what I'm saying?
interesting.
What the outcome is if the trainer is found guilty, because like you said, is it going to be labeled as an inappropriate relationship, or is it going to be labeled as sexual misconduct? Whatever more serious label is, they normally give
Well,
the older guy on the younger female.
I kind of said it to say, I kind of said it to round it out with the point of being where, we talking about double standard, but from a mentality standpoint, that lets you know just someone at that age, no matter what, the societal thinks about it, it can be traumatizing for a male or a female. You know what I'm saying? This is a
True.
grown man who in the NFL making $1 million, but he going after her because it obviously has some kind of effect on him.
True. Probably doesn't
I'm
get
You know what I'm
with
saying?
reported.
that's CA. That was a good point. It probably don't get reported when the victim in these circumstances, because they are victims, and the victim in these circumstances are male. It probably doesn't get. Now there's a lot that doesn't get reported when they're females as well. But I feel like because you may be even seen as I don't know, hey man, you soft or whatever it is. You know
Look
what
at
I'm saying?
the pressure. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you're a 17-year-old guy, you like, oh, she took. I mean, and I'm being honest with you, it ain't even got to be a 17-year-old guy. It could be a guy that's of age. Like if you come out and say this woman took advantage of me, how many people are actually going to believe him? Now that happens in females as well, but I would gather to say in the double standard, it's kind of like she really took advantage of you. She really did this to you, like you know what I'm saying? Like there's, I mean. That's what society would kind of say, like for real,
Well,
like
and even from a double standard standpoint, we're talking about double standards. So the crime, so not only with the crime be seen kind of in generality seen to be less, also be the punishment.
like if they did find the woman guilty, you
Right.
saying her punishment wouldn't even be as stiff or as severe as if the guy is found guilty of sexual misconduct.
Yeah.
Double standards that these are all everything we talk about tonight. These are double standards that happen in our society. Is that I guess we can't even say they're right or wrong. It's just why are they the way that they are, and it goes. I think they all could go back to guys somewhat of the toxic masculinity thing. They expect guys to be strong, masculine, uh, unafraid. I don't know what like a
It
word that I'm
basically
looking
boiled
for.
down to you as a man deal with your emotions, make it work. Make whatever it is, make it work, fix it, make it work, and deal with it.
Plus,
Right.
I think along with that, I think it's also like, just from a superficial standpoint, it's hard to believe she took it from you. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like the credibility from a man's perspective just in, oh, you didn't want to do that, really?
It can be
Regardless of how
consensual
old you
about
are.
the age.
I see what you're saying, but I'm saying I guess I'm speaking on why it's not reported, why it's not discussed, why the punishment don't seem to be as hard. Why is there an inequality? Because yeah, you could be a victim, but the public perception might see you a different way. Oh, he was just trying to get that grade up, or he was moving in a certain crowd. He was on the team, and you, it can be a lot of different ways people might just assume it went because when you look at it physically from a kind of raunchy standpoint, the male is the penetrator, so it's still kind of like, did she take it? People kind of just second guessing it puts us as men in a bad position trying to report on that kind of angle or look for some justice on it.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
I
Right.
see what you're saying.
That's right. That's right. So, like some of the research I was doing, I found like a couples counseling website that talked about both of these topics we talked about. We talked about, sex in the home with the kids, and it talked about, unreported or reported sexual misconduct from a teacher student. It also gave some other ones. It says a woman who wants to snuggle is affectionate, but a man who wants to snuggle is needy. A married woman without a job is a homemaker, but a married man without a job is a failure. A man who speaks his opinion is strong and passionate, but a woman who speaks her opinion is bitchy and shrill.
Is that like the 7 signs? It's like seven things.
It's 8 of them. So it says
I
a
know
woman,
yeah.
a woman who
I
raises
do my
kids is
research too,
natural.
Coach.
Right. A woman who raises kids is natural. A man who raises kids can't find something meaningful to do. And then the one we talked about earlier, a man who likes sex is admired and powerful. Woman who likes sex is promiscuous. A woman who cries is in touch with her feelings. A man who cries is weak.
Right.
A woman who gets angry is irrational. And then a man who gets angry knows what he wants and gets what he wants. I mean, I said all that to say because these things
give me my food.
These things come to play in relationships, regardless of what relationships you're talking about, whether it's romantic relationships, friendships or work relationships or whatever it's marriages. All of these things come to play. Are they fair? I guess the question is, can men and women ever be equal? Like, are these double standards, these gender inequalities fair?
No.
But
changing them is going to be a tough one, not to cut you off short. I think it's cultural. I think, because everybody looks at things from their own perspective. And it does depend on where you come from, how you were raised, and what your goals might be as to how you receive some of this type of information. So I think the inequalities are, I know they're not fair. I don't think that's in question. That's why they're labeled as inequalities. The correction, can we make corrections? I think that's tough because, again, we're all coming from different perspectives. So we can try to find a common ground, but to make some straight line rules is going to be a hard sell for a lot of people because, again, we all have different perspectives.
Yeah, I think in our perspectives come from what environment we was in when we were raised and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? So when you got a situation where a woman doesn't have a job, and then you I think that's an individual, like you say, you hear that, you don't automatically think she a loser. You know what I'm saying? You just like, oh, she ain't got no job. Maybe she home taking care of the kids. Her man got enough. You know what I'm saying? It's like now, but if you hear a dude ain't got no job and he just like, what you doing at home every day, dog?
So
like some people.
I think the key word to me in that phrase is fair, right?
Right.
It's like what's coming up with what's fair. So let me see if I can. I speak in metaphors. I think Coach can kind of maybe decipher me a little bit. So when we're talking about fair, so it's almost like that's just like if you want to be fair. I'm just making this as an example. It's like letting men and women in the army, right? That's fair, right?
Okay.
You want to have a woman can do anything that a man can do to say that that's fair, right? Okay. But we all know that's not true because there's a difference between a man and a woman, right?
Right. Right.
So let's just say the man can do 100 push-ups, right? But the lady can only do 60. But is it fair for her to only do 60, or do she have to do something else to make up for the 40 push-ups to make it fair?
Mm. Mm.
Or is it only fair that she can only, or is it only fair that she can only do 60 push-ups? You see what I'm saying?
Well,
I do
in that,
because that.
go ahead, CA.
Go. It definitely matters, but it depends on who she's competing against, and that's the hard part because if it's supposed to be even playing field, we should all have the same standards. But if I'm chasing my own tail, even just trying to figure out that argument. Like,
Well,
yeah,
I mean,
if she's competing against women, that's equal. But if it's against a man who's stronger, then it's obviously
that's what
not the same.
you just hit on it, because in this particular situation that you just gave, Shawty, we're talking about physical strength. That's what we're talking about. It's fair to let both of them into the service, but is it fair that she only has to do 60 push-ups where he does 100 push-ups? In that particular instance, for me, it is fair to only let her do 60 push-ups because we're talking about physical strength, and there is scientific proof that men are naturally stronger than women. Now,
okay.
is there a guy out there that isn't as strong as a woman? Yes, but exceptions aren't the rule.
So, hey, Cole, so I'm gonna say, going back to fair, I'm just saying, if it come down, I hope it don't come down to we having to tote these backpacks and we really need
Yes,
4
if it's a
guns.
physical job, job, I'm going with the 100. I need everybody who can do 100. I ain't
I'm
even.
just saying, but to be fair,
No, that is fair. If 100 push-ups was the line, you come on over here and try to do the 100. I can't bring my bar down it because now I'm sacrificing my overall strength in my team. If it's a physical team, if there's no intellect in that equation, if it's a physical team, if it's strictly physical, which we've already said there's a difference,
Right.
I'm gonna stick with my line. It's like they still got the big ball in the men's basketball game, and the women have a slightly smaller ball. Yeah, they can shoot the bigger ball, but most of them.
I'm glad you said that, CA, because after the Steph Curry, Stephanie, I apologize, I don't remember her last name, but she plays in the WNBA. She shot from the guys 3-point line, and somebody that was rooting for her, one of the hosts, it was a guy. He was like, she should have been able to shoot. Reggie Miller, I think Reggie Miller.
Nope, it was Kenny.
Kenny said she should have been able to shoot from the woman's line. But again, like that's kind of one of those physical things, because the woman's line is closer because, again, the physical strength. Sabrina, thank you, Shelby.
Yep.
Sabrina
Ionesco,
yeah. So that's kind of like what you're saying. Usually, like this whole physical thing. Now, with the toting of the gear, whether we trotting through the tropical jungle or whatever, the toting of the gear is different than the push-ups. The push-ups is just a test. But the gear, I can see if you can carry the gear. I mean, like, can you carry the gear? Now, I don't.
The gear 100 pounds.
Well,
I'm
just
let
saying,
me ask you a quick question.
You might can't put the extra rifle in her bag that you really need because she ain't strong enough. But your partner, he can tote both rifles. And I'm just saying, don't let it come down to you being a rifle short. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
Exactly. So I'm looking for the women who can tote 2 rifles. I'm not bringing the criteria down. So I'm with that. CA, you're not saying that a woman can't do it. You looking for the women that can do it. Exactly.
So if it's gonna be a standard, it's gonna be a standard.
The standard didn't change. I just opened the doors. I'm not even here to try to curtail the standard. I just need to make it more available, more accessible. So I kind of agree with what Kenny said. She should have been able to shoot with her ball from her line. That would have made it way harder on Steph, but we're just talking about threes. Now, at the same time, I remember when McEnroe competed against a woman in tennis. Now that was even ground. That was head to head. That was him going against a woman, and that showed a clear difference. It was tennis, but there were some physical differences that the young lady couldn't overcome just because of, you know, the makeup. I think it was different with the Steph and Sabrina action because it was more of a skill, you know, so it was a little bit of, you know, they had some imbalance in there. I think he's the better shooter, but I do think she should have been able to use her ball, come from her line, because that's where they count her three at, you
Right.
know. But, you know, I could be right. I think that can go either way, but that's just my personal opinion.
Where Lance gets in and says it's like in some other sports in golf on the golf course, the women's tee box is further up than both the standard and the pro tee boxes for the men.
But I'm saying that, and that go back to we talking about, you know what I'm saying, men talking about being equal. It's almost like from a percent. I'm saying it's almost now we dealing with percentages. It's like from a percentage standpoint, she should only be able to do 40% of what the male counterpart can do physically.
Right.
But that ain't. But that's fair. I would think if I'm doing something, if I'm doing my 100%, I need the other person. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I think you kind of said it. Like maybe the push-up test ain't what we need to be doing. It need to be like regardless. Like when you come in, and I'm not saying I ain't never been in the service. My wife was in the service, so she might can spread. Like I might can ask her see if she had some different goals or criteria to meet than the male counterpart. But I think it should be more of this is the gear. Can you carry this gear, and can you run and put on all this gear? Can you run a mile in this X amount of time? If you can,
regardless,
I don't care if you can do. I don't care if you can do 10 push-ups, 100 push-ups, whatever push-ups or whatever. It's like as long as you can carry what we need when we on the mission, then we good.
Cause see, look, man,
it's like basic training. I'm sure they have some kind of standard like basic training that they all have to pass, and cause you know what I mean.
Right.
Women pass it all the time. Let me throw this at you guys. What about women? When we talking about double standard, what about them being able to flex their power to be a woman? And my example is like this right here. They can be on both sides of the fence. Where if you punch the stud? I'm talking about the stud with the dread, the pants like look just like one of the boys, right? What if she hit you and you punch her back? Then when the folk get there, she turn into she slide into the girl now, but she was just the stud.
I think
popping off before anything went down.
I think
now they can slide their power.
Well, they can, unless it depends. Okay, first off, if you got to decide the arriving party, most times, meaning the police or whoever, they have to decide how they're going to treat it. There's there's a double standard, and then there's a double standard within the double standard, because if we just saying stud, we're talking about the manly woman in the woman-on-woman relationship for those that didn't follow along. But there could be a pretty stud or a more feminine look. Let's say that, because the beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So a more feminine looking stud. So while we all are aware that Janelle Monáe, just using these examples, me and Shawty kind of use this, she is gay. So she likes women. So does young MA. So question to you, CA, is it different if Janelle Monáe do something to you, you hit her, or young MA do something to you and you hit young MA?
Oh man, this ain't gonna be a good answer. Let me just lay that out here off the muscle. Anybody hit me getting that action? Anybody. Highlighted, and I'm talking about across the board, because if you struck first, it don't matter to me. It does, because legally I'm legit.
You
so
defending yourself.
You're gonna wear your own shoes. I don't care if they high heels or pumps with the Reebok logo. I'm not here to decipher if you take physical action against me.
And
I'm telling you now.
Standard.
The perception.
I know it's a double standard. But I can't walk all these lines. It's too many lines out here. I ain't tiptoeing. I'm, at 48. No, I don't care who touches me. I'm gonna do my best to make sure that's the last time you touch me. And I'm telling my son the same. So
because perception is gonna be if he does that to the Janelle Monáe, the perception is gonna be way worse on him then I'm not saying it's not gonna be bad if he does it to the young MA, but if he
True, it's
does
gonna
it
be
to
bad regardless. It's gonna be bad regardless. But it'll probably be the last time.
It's gonna be the perception of it gonna be worse if he
You're
does
right
it to
about that.
Janelle
And
Monáe.
that's also a time when like the letter of the law will really go against you, regardless.
The letter of the law, yeah,
right. The letter of the law will go against you, regardless of whether it's Janelle Monáe or Young May, just because she's female. You're
But
gonna
if she
get
hit you, if she
harsh.
hit first,
well,
the
I
letter
mean,
of the
I'm
law
just saying,
gonna protect me if she hit first. I'm saying public perception might be bad, but the letter of the law I'm good. If she hit me first,
yeah, I
I'm
got
straight. You know
Well,
what
I
I'm saying?
mean,
That's what I'm
just in
saying.
a scenario, I'm just talking about in a scenario. My bad. I was just speaking in a scenario where you put your hands on a woman.
Exactly what you should never do. Like I'm leading with that in the conversation.
right.
At the same time, if anybody decides to physically approach you, I don't take any. I ain't curtailing shit for shit. Like I don't. That ain't got nothing to do with me, yo. You made that decision, put me in this spot where I feel like I had to defend myself. You know, I'm gonna take it exactly where you left it.
Right.
So we're gonna pick up from there. But I'm not here to say I'm condoning any of that. I don't condone anybody putting their hands on anybody. That's where the conversation got
So
to
you
start.
don't take no restraint, whether it be a man or a female that put their hands
No,
on you.
no, because you was stupid to try to touch me.
So CA saying it ain't no double standard with him. He said it's equal standard if you put your hands on him.
Exactly, it is. It really is. It really is, and I understand what come with it.
Equal
But this
opportunity.
ain't brand new.
Equal
It
opportunity.
always have been.
That's what they say. Now let me say this. Now the perception also gonna be different. Should Janelle Monáe win in that situation, and if Young May win in that? Because if Young May win, I think we can say. I haven't said. Listen, you take an L, you take an L, you take an L. But
he can't.
Man, the L
He
gonna be the
can't
L.
win it. He can't
I
win
can't.
in the female situation. He can't win.
Yeah, it's gonna be an L regardless.
Yeah.
But your homeboy looking at you like you just dealt with Young and May. They gonna look at you different if you just dealt with Janelle Monáe. Like no, like,
Actually, no, they ain't. That's what I'm saying. See, my homeboys don't care. You let a woman, whether she pretty or a little more studly, man, you let her put you down like that, it ain't gonna matter what she look like. It's because it's still a woman. So again, I have no business in that interaction.
right.
So that ridicule gonna come with it. At the same time, I'm not here to allow anybody
right
to do
right.
to
So you
put hands on me.
like that said, you an equal opportunity. So like if you put your hands on me, man, woman, or other,
It's
you
some women out here that's bigger than me.
You getting the same action. You getting the same action.
Right, ain't no restraint.
None, because I need this to stop.
He's squaring up. You know what I mean?
I need this to stop.
Hey, Shelby gets in and says, women, another double stands, women don't get paid the same. If we get the same pay, maybe we would want to be fair. We wouldn't. That's true. There is a lot of jobs.
The job is.
Yeah, it depends on what the job is, but there's a lot of cases, and there's been, case study. You can Google that info.
100% right, Shelby.
Where there's women who do the same exact job that a man does.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, and doesn't get paid. Another one is, and I know some of these people seen the IG story that I put out when it comes to paying for dinner on a date. I mean, if the dude don't pay, he a loser, he a broke or whatever. If the woman don't pay, it's like that's
only in America.
Like, who should pay for dinner? Who should pay for dinner, CA, on a date? Not married, because y'all got your own. When you're married, you got your own lingo, you got your own ways that you do stuff. But when you date in this dating world, who should pay for dinner?
That's a good question. I think it can, it's up for debate. In most cases, the guy's gonna be responsible because usually we're pursuing, we're hunting, we're making the suggestion. We've gone out of our way to probably step up and initiate a lot of the interaction. So we're trying to be creative, and in those scenarios, if you are making the suggestion, you need to be able to sponsor it.
And you touched on that, CA. You said it. You said because we're normally the pursuer, we're normally the one that suggested, we're normally the one. I had a personal example. from when I was in college.
Okay.
We all, we dated ourselves here. I was making $4.25 an hour with my work study.
I remember that number.
A young lady asked if we can go say, hey, let's go to the movies. I said, all right, let's go. So when we get there, she's like, you ain't paying? I said, you asked me to go to the movies. You asked me to go to the movie, so I didn't try to. I don't want to ask you what your financial situation, but you asked me. Like, we was having a good time. I never asked you to go to the movies. You don't know my financial. You don't know my financial situation.
And what's the new shit where they bring one of their friends?
Bro, we're gonna get into that
right there.
Oh, my bad.
Shelby gets in and says, whoever asks you pay. That's that. When I was in college, I was a firm believer of whoever asks pays. Now, if you are a party that wants the other person to pay, you could subtly hint that you want to do something, and then maybe they ask you. I don't know, but if you ask me to do something. Right now, Shawty say, hey man, if this is just
we at least going Dutch if you ask me. That's the worst case scenario.
Worst case, like, because I didn't ask you to go out. You know why I didn't ask you to go out? I didn't ask you to go out because at that particular moment, I may have not felt like I had enough to pay for you, and I made $4.25 an hour. I'm saving up to take you out.
Or I might not just be. Maybe I just ain't there yet. Like maybe I didn't want to take you out just yet, and you've made a gesture, and I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I will go have coffee with you. I want to chat to you when I get there.
But in the world of double standards, had I asked her to go out and then got to the movies and then said, "Hey, you paying?" Now I'm looked at as a low life or whatever you want, whatever name you want.
Coach, who paid for that? Who paid for it? What happened?
We didn't go to the movies. We got back in my car and we drove back to the campus.
Hell, we
that would toxic men do. That would toxic men do.
She was like, I ain't paying. She was like, you the man. She said that. She said, you the man. I said,
okay,
but you
she
asked
tried
me.
you.
She said, you asked. She said, I said, but you asked me. And I was
there
like,
you go, Coach.
Come on, bro. Like,
so I want to go get. So you call me, cause you feel like you want to go get a steak.
Hey man, that's going on. That's the play.
I guess I supposed to just go get a steak too, or whatever. It don't matter of fact. I don't even think you care what I get. You just want me to pay for whatever you get. You know what I mean? That makes no sense.
Shelby said if somebody asks her and she know nothing gonna happen later, we're going Dutch. Even if they ask.
That's a smart play. Because there are some assumptions that come with that. Because if you make a suggestions and then I end up forking it over, I might be assuming something different. And at the same time,
if you get the surf and turf, the steak and the shrimp,
and you got a to-go box, talking about a big boy dessert, and you've been drinking all night. Like, what you want to do?
So let's say back in college, he said a girl offered to take him.
You don't put your foot in the sand. You're gonna be trying to get out the pot.
Take that dog.
Let's say a girl offered to take him out for his birthday back in college. She paid for the movie, but then tripped when she was asked about dinner, and he told her that he was broke. Why is it that you had to even say that you was broke? She took you out for your birthday. And vice versa. If you would have wanted to take her out for her birthday, she shouldn't have been expected to pay for anything on that particular. That's not what we doing.
That's a double negative.
Right. It's like, dog, if you ask somebody to go out
on their birthday,
I think you should be ready to, if nothing else, you should be ready to pay for the outing. If nothing else, you should be ready. Now, this guy or girl, depending on which situation it is, could be willing to pay for it. But if you are the pursuer in this particular juncture, you should be ready to pay for that. But it's a double standard on perception if you're not ready to pay for it. So go ahead, CA.
Man, I heard an argument from a woman's side of or perspective, basically stating that because I got to get these nails, I got to get my hair done. I went out and got a dress. Making the assumption that they're spending so much on the front end to prepare for the date that the guy is supposed to be able to take care of everything else because she came with her full presentation and whatever that might entail, and that doesn't come for free. And my response to that is that ain't got nothing to do with me. Like if that's your standard, okay, you can hold your standard, but I'm not sitting here. I'm not prepping to cater to that. I'm not interested in that. I don't even like women that wear a lot of makeup
Well,
because
I was about to say
you
the
know
same
that's
thing.
that's not
Fred.
my style anyway. But if you got all that prep and you come with that, cool, that's fine. But I don't have any responsibility in trying to maintain that or keep that to a certain. You came in like that, so I'm hoping you can maintain what how you
Right.
started.
Your personal appearance on the date is your personal standard. How I want to look and how I want to present myself when we get ready to go out, that's my standard. If that means I want to show up, this is just an example of the stuff that guys pay a lot for. Like if I want to show up in some $200 Jordans, that's not on the woman. Just like if you want to go get your nails done, if you feel like your nails wasn't good enough to come on the date, that's some money that you chose to spend before you go on a date. I shouldn't be held responsible in any way, shape, or form because you decided to do that. I might have liked you before you got the nails done. I don't know.
But that speaks to a whole nother larger picture of, what I'm saying, how women are view themselves.
Ooh,
And,
look at Shelby.
when you're talking about self-expression and, confidence and things like that. Look here, man.
Look at
I'm
my
gonna
girl
tell you
Shelby.
that right here. Because right, that would have said a whole lot. Because when I get you home, guess what? I need you to go with where it got you there. You know what I'm saying?
Shelby
That's about as
Right.
simple I can break it down. I need to go with where it got you there. Cause what I'm saying is I don't need to meet the representative, folks.
You're right. And in that scenario where she say, hey, I had to spend XYZ on this to get prepped for this date, Shelby says that's a whole lie because you set dates for your hair appointment, you know what I'm saying, in
Exactly.
advance.
They curved you that weekend when she, still had them old braids in. And then, the next weekend when I'm straight, when I got it all together, okay, we can do that.
Right. So, hey, man, like I say, but again, perception. Like, if you're not like, now to Shawty point, there has been a thing going around saying, and it's a question, and and I'll be honest with you, like I'll keep a butt with you. Like the question was, and I don't know this, all I know is the guy wanted to take his girl out, his lady. They didn't, I don't know if they was married, I don't know if they was just whatever. It was a regular date.
I don't know your scenario.
Yeah, it didn't. The scenario I saw didn't say it was any special occasion. He wanted to take his lady out. He was paying. He's taking his lady out. And then when she came, she brought friends.
Mm-hmm.
She brought friends. And then the question was, should he pay for everybody or not? And if he doesn't, how is he viewed? I guess my initial response, and see, wow, everybody in the comments, I saw this on Facebook. So everybody in the comments was arguing whether or not he should pay. Some was on one side, some was on the other side. And to show you how I think just totally different, and I told my boy Ben this, I was like, that's not what I would have been thinking. I would have been thinking, why are they there anyway? If I'm trying to spend time with my lady and I take her on a date, now if it was her birthday and I said, hey, I'm taking you out for your birthday and I invited some of your friends, I'm paying for everybody. But, and they talked about this on the NBA Live or whatever. Like my first thought was, why would you bring you, if we're trying to go on a date, the date is for us to get to know each other or enhance whatever knowledge we know of each other, us to spend some alone time. Why is there extra parties there in the first place? That's where I'm coming from. So like I don't even get to the check.
I've seen a couple of different scenarios. One I seen where it was actually these people first time meeting, and this one girl bought her homegirl where you want to say it's for safety or whatever.
For safety, I can see that.
And I also saw one where there was where this girl and this guy they talk, and they was having a get together. And it was just him and her. Then it was about 7 of her friends showed up. And it's known that you can only split the bill 2 ways.
Ooh, okay.
And it was one of those kind of restaurants where you can only split, certain restaurants, when you have a certain amount of people, they only give you 2 checks.
Yeah, some restaurants
do
that. Yeah.
So he was kind of like, he paid for his first and got out of there, and they was upset when they had to pay their own bills.
Gotcha. So Shelby said, I've never taken a friend on a date with me. What if y'all decide to be together? So I'm just out of luck. I'm not that nice. That's one of the possibilities. Y'all decide y'all want to carry the date a little bit further. Now you got your friends, and I'm assuming, and then there's a lot of assumptions that have to be made there with transportation and all that. But yeah, Lance says
I'm
I wouldn't
lost. Hold
pay
on,
for
what you
them.
mean by that? I'm lost on that.
Like if y'all decide to be together, be like the night is gonna end in some late night coffee.
The
Or
third
whatever you
leg
want
got to
say.
go.
Oh, okay.
Third
Right.
wheel get left out.
She said, so if she brings the friend with her, let's say she's driving, but her friend comes over to her house, and then she rides with Shelby to the date. Shelby say, what if she decides that she wants the date to continue with the guy? Now she just out of luck because her friend there, she's like, she's not that nice. But hey man, there's always Uber.
We got Uber and stuff now. Yeah, we got Uber and stuff now.
What if he liked the friend? The friend
that's always a chance. There's always a chance there, CA, that you could be putting your friend there. Now the dude you talking to, or the
hey, look, the equal opportunist would say that.
You see what I'm saying?
Right. So Lance say he wouldn't pay Lance say he wouldn't pay for him unless we all going back to the crib afterwards. So Lance said he paying for the lady that he's taking on the date and not her friends. If we got to that point, which I don't even want to know how we would get there. Listen, unless it's a special occasion, I told her that she could invite people, I'm paying for my lady.
I've been in that scenario.
I think it's cool, man, and it's a nice gesture. I just don't want to set no precedents. You know what I'm saying? That's the only reason I wouldn't do it.
Exactly.
Right. So in that scenario, CA, you had a scenario like that. How'd you handle it?
It wasn't really a big deal for me. I didn't even think twice about it. I knew what my responsibility was. It was a birthday party actually. So my responsibility was the celebrated individual. I didn't even assume. I didn't even look at. I didn't even, I wasn't even discreet. I just did the two fingers over to the waitress and, pointed at me and who I'm responsible for. And I went from there. So I don't, the crowd reaction. See, a lot of people be worried about the crowd reaction. You're already losing. Like, if you ain't won the crowd over, what you worried about it for anyway? Like, they either using you or they already like you. So you ain't got to do that. It's a lot of guys with misperception on what you're supposed to be. Man, hell with the crowd. You ain't, trying to appease the crowd. We're gonna get you broke up with or get the situation ended. You can't win but one person over at a time. And you got to keep your focus. And if the woman you're dating has an expectation that you weren't ready for, you probably don't need to be dating her.
Right.
It's just a good sign that y'all ain't on the same page.
Your expectations and standards are your expectations and your standards. So if I'm dating a woman and she expects me to do that, and I'm not that guy, then these are signs that that could be a whole
y'all just in two different stratospheres. That's all. Ain't no wrong with that.
That could go to a whole nother show on how when we meet somebody and we start dating somebody, we see a lot of signs that this person isn't the person for you, but we ignore those things, and this could be one of those signs. Like, oh, I'm gonna go ahead and pay because I don't want to be the simp. But yeah.
So listen, so speaking of the double standard, Coach, let me ask you this. So what if, the girl invites you out on a date and you happen to bring your friend?
I did that too.
Ooh, because then it'll look like even worse. Like y'all two dudes want her to pay for both of y'all. Now it's you better call Tyrone situation. I got to pay for Jim Jones.
But you invited me, so I'm assuming you paying for one dinner anyway. Right.
I mean, that's
a piece right there.
But just see how silly that shit sounds. When you turn out around, that shit sounds silly as hell, right?
Right. Like Shelby say, I'm not paying for your friend. And that's the point when you flip it over to the other side, whether it's a man or a woman. If you're taking out your mate, I personally don't feel like you should have to pay for a friend that comes along. Again, total another conversation on why the friend is even there anyway if it's not a special occasion.
And look, Coach, and look, that's a double standard again, even to Shelby point, like to what CA said earlier. Listen, how we don't know Shelby might need to pay for the friend. She might be trying to take both on home.
You see what I'm saying?
The double standard, you know what I'm saying? You think that the last thing you thinking. That ain't gonna never happen.
That ain't going.
Women don't think like that.
Right. These are all good examples of double standards, though. I mean, and I'm like CA. I don't care who it is. if there's a crowd of people, we talking about paying for dinner. If there's a crowd of people or a group of people out for dinner, I already know who I'm paying for when I sit down.
Yeah,
exactly. And I'm getting, and if I feel like there may be some confusion at the end, I'm like doing like CA said, I'm making eye contact. I'm getting eye contact with the server, and I'm like,
get that check I'm responsible for.
I'm taking care of my federal and my state taxes. There ain't gonna be no.
You see what I'm saying?
There ain't gonna be no confusion.
Coach, Coach. I got another scenario that was similar to that, man. I'm actually gonna go ahead and dig close to home right here. You know, for me personally, I went on a blind date. I've only been on one blind date, Coach. And on that blind date, this was
blind as in blind.
All the way blind. I don't know nothing. I just went in all the way blind, but it was a referral.
Hey, your boy didn't give you no curve, no height, no nothing.
I did have a little intel. It was blind on the meeting. It was, the first time face-to-face conversation. But I did have a picture, and I had a little, hey, did what you finna run into. And it wasn't my homeboy. Okay, it wasn't my homeboy. It was one of my home girls too. So like that always, she almost came through vetted. So this is what I did. And it was slightly monkey, but I did it anyway. I invited my homeboy and the little chick he was dealing with at the time.
So you turned it into a double date.
I turned it into a double date without even letting nobody know, because I wasn't necessarily invested. And I'm just like, hey, I'm gonna have a good time regardless. You more than welcome to join us, because we gonna kick it. I hope you can enjoy the time
she basically became the fourth wheel at that point. It's like,
exactly.
Come if you want to, it don't matter.
I still get talked bad to, because that's my wife. Like, I ain't up married.
She just showed up.
She pulled up and she was like, what the hell is going on?
Oh man, not the missus. The missus probably still give you hell about that.
Oh, I still get hell about that at least 2-3 times a year. And I amp for it, I pay for it, and I'm here for it. I did that.
What if the tables were turned and your wife, your now wife, then blind date, showed up with a couple, and you just showed up like, yo, man, I thought it was gonna be me and you.
Well, see, that's the thing. I told her he would be there, so I did give her a little bit of heads up. And when you show up, I actually invited my folk. So we all gonna be there. It don't make it better. I ain't trying to clean it up.
It's the setup. You don't hear the setup, Coach?
It's a setup.
Oh, this man, he playing chess.
He had an out. What he wanted was an out, just in case it didn't go like he thought it was gonna go. Fortunately enough, for those listening, it did work out.
Clean me up, Coach. Clean me up.
You know what I'm saying?
Got to go upstairs.
This has been a successful, long-standing relationship that turned into a marriage and some beautiful kids. But at that time, our guy Coriolis was trying to find an out just in case.
I was just making sure.
Just saying, we always working.
Yeah, we were going to lunch anyway, so come on and join us. But yeah, it worked out. Right. I could have played it a little bit better. Just being honest about it. But at the same time,
right?
Yeah, I think I did the right thing, because it worked.
But worst case scenario, you're just gonna be out of lunch.
Exactly. Yeah. All that. Because again, I didn't go into it with any preconceived notions. Again, we weren't. Nothing was solid. We were just really getting a chance to meet and have a conversation, and that was a good dynamic. So she wouldn't have to be doing all the talking. I wouldn't have to carry the conversation. It was a good dynamic that worked out, because they did have some other pieces in common. So yeah,
see, I'm just gonna give you a little hair just cause I am. You didn't really go in blind. You had some pretty good intel. It sounded like
I had some damn good intel. Hold on, let me just go ahead and shout out to my homegirl Marissa Wilson. Yeah, I had damn good. She was vetted.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. You didn't go in blind. You didn't go in blind, but you had some damn good paperwork, intel. You know what I mean?
You know what I'm saying? I had the papers.
You had all the specs. You know what I'm saying? The price. You had the specs, the extra features. You know what I'm saying? You knew what
showed up to the auction. Put my bid in.
Right.
I didn't need to see it in person.
And it all worked out. So hey, keep giving them hell, Lisa. Every anniversary, let him know. You know what I'm saying? That's how it go, man. Hey man, whether we like it or not, whether it's fair in your eyes or not, there's always double standards when it comes to men and women, whatever that may be. There's a lot that we didn't touch on tonight that could be touched on. Just know you got to do what's best for you in whatever situation it is. Your perception might not always be the other's perception. There's always two sides to every story. You know,
and we
what
can
I'm
always
saying?
spin that block back.
Right. And hey, never know. The truth is somewhere in the middle. You know what I'm saying? We want to thank our guest, Corey Allen, for joining us tonight on Two Sides with Shawty and the Coach. We want to thank everybody for watching. Y'all don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, man. Tell a friend to tell a friend, man, so we can have more stimulating conversations about pop culture, relationships, whatever it may be here on Two Sides every Sunday at 9 p.m. Shawty, you got anything you want to touch on before we get up out of here?
No, man. Like you said, man, there's always two sides to the story, man. Maybe we can meet somewhere in the middle, man. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Till next Sunday, we out of here.
Well, God,
it must be two sides.